What's up, guys? It's Too Troubled, back for episode 12. I am your host, Travis Chadwick, and I'm here with
Tucker Grace.
And like we said in last podcast, from now on, it's NFL season. As you can see, we got the jerseys. Jair Alexander, Kenneth Walker, representing our teams. Here we got a special episode. We're bringing 4 record predictions instead of our normal 2. 4 record predictions. We're going to be predicting the records of 4 different teams. See how it goes. And I'm ready. Let's kick this show on.
But before we do so, I just want to make sure that everyone who's watching right now has liked the video. You're already subscribed. And go leave a comment down below, because why the fuck wouldn't you? Right? Help us out. Support the channel.
Ding.
And, oh, yeah. Don't forget about that bell.
You hear that?
What's that?
That's the bell calling you to go hit it. Hit the bell, baby.
So we appreciate you guys doing all those things. But without further ado,
the NFL season of this show has started.
Yeah, you guys already know the drill by now. I'm going over to Siri. She's going to give me a number 1 through 32. And we will go check and reference the power rankings and see what team we'll be doing first. So let's see. Pick a number 1 through 32.
The answer is 11.
11. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is my Seattle Seahawks, if I remember correctly. 8, 9, 10. It is my Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Oh,
Tucker
my God.
is wearing the jersey. You heard Suri say the number.
Come on now.
We're going right
Let's
into
go.
it.
I'm very nervous because I'm sitting across from
A
Seahawks'
hater.
biggest hater.
A hater, baby.
So-
Not just Seattle's hater. I'm a hater of every single team.
Hey, just remember, whatever you do to my Seahawks and whatever you argue with me about, I will be giving you the same respect back.
You
for
already
your
have.
Packers.
You've had the Atlanta Falcons beating us, so I am a little salty.
You just got to get better at your rock, paper, scissors game, I think.
I do have to get better at my rock, paper, scissors game. But let me take week 1
Oh, I swear to God.
in Seattle versus the Rams. Seattle gets their first win.
Thank you.
Seattle gets their first win.
Wait, am I just like, am I not saying anything for this now? Like,
You
is this
can.
your whole
Oh,
thing?
no. This is a Too Troubled thing. So I'll let you say it in. But if I see some heavy biasness, I'm bringing down the hammer.
All right, fair enough.
Hammer down.
Fair enough.
Week 2.
Don't do it to us. It was a high scoring game last year. We smoked them last year, and I think we improved more than the Lions did.
I think they have a little bit more to play for since you took their playoff spot. So I'm going to give it to the Detroit Lions. I'm going to give it to the Detroit Lions. But in week 3, a team that you lost to last season, and they got a whole lot better.
I want my get back.
You're going to get it because you'll win in week 3.
Yes.
Hopefully, you can take the Panthers seriously this time and that they have better players on their team.
Come on, let us.
But
beat
I'll
the
give you the
Giants.
win.
Let us beat the Giants in week 4.
It's tough.
We beat them last year.
You did beat them last year, but you guys can't stop the run to save your life. And
I
they
know,
have a
but
good
we
running
stopped
back.
it against them last year, man.
But their defense and their quarterback is not going to help it. I think you guys pick up another win here in week
thank you. Oh, okay, thank
4, bringing you to 3-1.
Oh my
into
God,
your
this
bye.
is awesome. Yes.
Into your bye.
I love it.
And unfortunately, it's not going to matter for week 6 because Joe Shiesty's putting the hammer down.
No, we're beating the Bengals. No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just joking. I'll accept the loss there. That's fine.
Week 7 here is tough.
Get the fuck up out of here. I swear to God, man. We're sweeping the Rams and we're sweeping the Cardinals. Fuck the Cardinals. We're taking them in.
I do agree that you beat the Cardinals here. Week 8.
Week 8 could be a toss-up.
It is a toss-up. Deshaun Watson
really good.
has his offseason, but Nick Chubb is that X factor. And unfortunately, the X factor that you guys can't stop, which is a running back. Your defensive line of Uchenna Nwosu, you got some guys, but not really anything changed from last year being one of the worst run defenses in the league. And really, I don't see them throwing the ball. So Witherspoon and guys like that, I don't see them making that much of a difference here. The guys you added. So I'm going to give that one to the Cleveland Browns.
I'll accept it because you gave us the win against the Giants. So you know what? I think that's fine. If you give us a win against one, you could give us a loss against the other. That's fine with me.
Here in week 9, I'm going to go Baltimore. Another running quarterback. Another thing. You guys is kryptonite. I think Baltimore gets that one, especially that they're at home. But you guys only keep it a 2-game losing streak and beat the Commanders in week 10.
Yeah. And come on.
This one, I know it's hard for you. You got a couple of Grace brothers, so I'll let you handle week 11. You can pick what you want here.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I take it back. Fuck the Rams because we're sweeping them this year, just like we did last year. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. I don't care. We're sweeping the fucking Rams. Not much more needs to be said.
In week 12, what do you think's happening here, though?
Oh well, I think we'll split with the Niners. That's what I think.
Really?
I think we'll split with the Niners. I think.
All right, I'll give it to you.
They kind of fucked on us last year. They kind of gave us a third L.
Yeah, I know.
Last year, which is very disappointing. But I think we got a lot better.
L.
What'd you say?
Major L, because it wasn't just the third; it was a blowout.
Okay, we don't need to be reminded of that. Thank you very much. But I truly do believe, genuinely unbiased. I think that we got better. I think we got good enough this year in order to secure one win over the Niners this year. I hope we can get it done. We swept them 2 years ago. I don't know what the hell's going on. Hopefully we can split. I'm giving it to us week 12. But week 13, I'll let you take it back.
13, I think I'm going to take Dallas. Tony Pollard and that run defense, and even their offense in general is going to be wild next year. And I trust Dallas's defense more than I trust yours, so I'm going to have to give it to Dallas here. In week 14, you play the Niners again, though. As you said earlier,
we'll split with them. So week 15, I'm curious what you think here. I'm curious. We don't really need to go into depth. We're playing the reigning champs of the NFC, the Eagles. I think that's enough said. The Eagles are a very good team. I'll give it to the Eagles.
Okay.
I'll give it to the Eagles.
Okay.
I will.
This might be the toughest game I think I have picked yet because, as we have said, I think for the 5th time now, the Seattle Seahawks cannot stop the run. And this might be one of the best running backs to demolish teams that are not able to stop the run. But they have gotten extremely worse than they were in previous years. Mm-hmm. They have no receivers. They have no quarterbacks, and that's why they went out and drafted Will Levis. Their defense got worse. But is Derrick Henry enough to be that guy?
I truly don't think so. I don't think so. I think
it's a toss-up. It is a tie. I'm 50-50 here, so I'll let you decide.
I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. I've seen every fucking Seahawk game that has happened in the past years. I couldn't even tell you how many years. But I remember 2 years ago, we played the Titans. I think it was week 2. And it was a very close game. And this was when the Titans were rolling. Ryan Tannehill was still that guy. Mm-hmm. They had some receivers in that room. And it was a very close game. Derrick Henry still ran the fuck out of the ball on us. Yeah. We could not stop him. But we also had to worry about other threats. And I think that I guess one could argue maybe we're a better team 2 years ago with Russell Wilson. I don't think so. I really think that we're a better, more complete, solid team now. I think the defense has improved. Maybe not so much in the run game. But I really think that if all we need to worry about is not letting Derrick Henry run the ball down our throats, I would really hope that we could fucking bottle him up and put some fucking points on the board.
One would hope. I mean, you convinced me here. I think I'm going to give it to Seattle. Week 17, another one that can kind of go either way. Both teams are kind of coming in with question marks. How is Kenny Pickett going to play? Is Geno Smith going to follow up his amazing year last year? But I think you guys are just more of a complete roster than Pittsburgh is. I think I'm going to give it to Seattle. And I'm going to continue that. Seattle's going to end on a 3-game win streak.
Go!
Beating the Carolina Panthers, ending their season at 10-7, good enough for second in the division. 1 win better than you were last year.
Yeah.
Maybe you improved a little bit more to get up to 11. I think you can swing some games one way, but I also think you can swing some games another way.
Yeah.
You guys lost to Detroit. Maybe you pick up a win there.
Yeah.
You guys, and the Browns, but maybe you lose to Tennessee.
Yeah.
So 10-7 is right where I think you're going to be in the weak NFC. I think that's going to be good enough for a wild card spot.
I agree. I think that's a very fair representation of where we'll be. I think, like you were saying, I think there's a potential we pick up one game, maybe 2 more games. I think that could be a little bit of a stretch above the 10-7 mark. I also think that it's also fair that you could say that we drop a game below, maybe even 2 games below.
Maybe the Niners pick up a
I'm
sweep.
not going to sit here and lie to you. I think that 10-7 is a very good
10-7,
mid-average point
100%.
for where we can be.
And Vegas has you at 9.5, so we're definitely right. We're thinking right there with Vegas. We have you just over that at 10 wins. 2 games behind the Niners. So I think you guys are right there. I think that's perfect. You're 5-1 in the division, sweeping the bottom 2 teams, but splitting with the Niners.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next team, baby.
All right, let's get Siri back
Hopefully
out.
You got excited with your Seattle Seahawks here, the first team.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we could give you the Packers now. Maybe Siri will be nice to you as well. Let's see.
Hopefully. Siri doesn't like me, though.
Yeah, let's see. Pick a number 1 through 32.
All right,
The
Siri.
answer is 1.
Oh,
1.
we know who that is.
I think that might be the reigning champions.
That is the reigning champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, let's get them right going. Let's get it going.
Let's do it.
Week 1, Detroit versus Kansas City at Kansas City on Thursday Night Football, opening day of the season.
Patty Mahomes is not losing the opening game of the season.
Especially, they have the banner ceremony, the ring ceremony. It's a big day for Kansas City, and they're not going to lose on that day. I think they're going to want to pick up a win there.
100%.
Week 2.
Similar story, I think, in week 2.
Yep, I agree. I think they pick up a win versus Jacksonville. Continuing it into week 3, I think they beat the Bears there. I don't think you really need to touch much on that. The Bears are just rebuilding. They're getting better. Week 4, though, is really what I wanted to speed up and get to here because, now Aaron Rodgers is starting to get comfortable. 3 games in New York. I'm assuming that's going to be on a primetime game.
Yeah.
In New York, I'm going to go Jets.
Really?
I'm going to go Jets.
I'm going to have to fight back a little bit on this one, I think. I don't know. I don't think that Jets defense is good enough to stop Mahomes, Kelsey. I know their receiving room is a little bit weak. Maybe there's a chance they got D-Hop. They're able to sign D-Hop. If that happens, I think that there's going to be a problem for not just the Jets. It's going to be a problem for the whole league if they're able to get him. But obviously that hasn't happened yet. But I don't know. I think that it's really going to be a battle of the offenses, and I trust Patrick Mahomes in that offense to put up more points than I trust Aaron Rodgers in in an uncertain offense.
Yeah, no, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the reigning champions, but I think they did get worse. I think they did. They lose Juju Smith-Schuster, they lose McCole Hardman, they lose guys like that, so they definitely are not as good as they were last year. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think that they're going to pick up more losses. I think they'll probably be around probably 12, maybe even 11 wins. So I can see the Jets, that offense maybe giving Patrick Mahomes a little bit of trouble where Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson go and pick up a win there. So I think we might have to play a little rock, paper, scissors here.
I'm game for rock, paper, scissors. Let's see. Can you get it back?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, he went with the non-rock on the first try. It's the
mind games. I learned from you. The mind games.
Yeah, I taught you well there, huh?
You said that last podcast, and I was like, I need to work on my mind games. I do.
Yeah, I think you were watching some footage on our rock, paper, scissors and realized that I think every single time we played, we both went rock on the first draw.
I may have not been editing and realized that was the case.
Well, now I know if we play rock, paper, scissors again, maybe I'll throw a little paper out there. Who knows?
Week 4, give it to the Jets.
Week
Week
give it to the Jets.
5, I don't think you're going to see them really losing back-to-back games. The Vikings. No. I'm giving it to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, wow. My brain was an autopilot. I just thought we were giving it to the Chiefs.
We're giving it to the Chiefs. I just had to poke fun at my Minnesota Vikings fans. Go Pack Go. I had to pretend like they were going to pick a win up, but they're really not going to do that.
I see. Week 6. They're playing Denver. KC is home, so I'm going to give it to KC at home. But I think there's a good chance they split with Denver this year.
I could see that. I definitely think you give it to Kansas City at home on Thursday Night Football. So it's a short week. Kansas City's on a short week, and they get the advantage of being at home. You get to relax where Denver's got to hop on a plane right away. So I definitely think you give it to Kansas City there.
Yeah, and then week 7 against the Chargers could be. I'm curious to see. I could see them splitting with the Chargers as well.
I could see them splitting, but at home, I don't think that they're going to lose to the Chargers week 7. Normally, this early part of the season is where Kansas City rolls. They're veterans, so they know how to just start off hot. So, I mean, we're getting into midseason where I think the other teams are starting to get comfortable, especially, they got a new coach in their division with Sean Payton, but I think week 7 versus the Chargers, you got to give to Kansas City.
Yeah.
But week 8, I think you can give it to Denver.
Yeah.
I think now they got a coach in that division in Sean Payton that could rival Andy Reid. Obviously Andy Reid, I would assume is better just because of his accolades and all that. But Denver, I think, could be a new beast this year. I think they can, especially I heard they're in talks with Dalvin Cook. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm going to give that week 8 to Denver.
Yeah, and then unlike the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to give them a back-to-back loss in week 9 and give it to the Dolphins in week 9.
I do agree here. It says they're at home, but this game will be played in Germany.
Yeah.
So both teams got to travel on a big, big flight. And I don't know. I think if Tua can stay healthy, this Dolphins team can rattle off upsetting wins like we saw last year. They had some, I think they might have beat the Chiefs or were rivaled right there with the Chiefs. I know the Dolphins beat the Bills last year, so they can beat good teams. It's just, can Tua stay healthy?
Yeah, and one thing that actually just crossed my mind as well, I don't think we can take this into account just yet, but the whole Tyreek Hill situation, I wonder, I don't know how long, if he'll be suspended or for how long.
I'm assuming by week 9 he probably would be.
You would hope. Would hope. I've seen stranger that Calvin Ridley got hit with the ban for a whole year. Obviously, it was a different situation. But
there.
I don't know. You could if the Dolphins are without Tyreek Hill in any game, I think you could pretty safely chop it up and give it to the other team.
Yeah,
but
he's a big X factor, and he's a big reason which contributed to a lot of their offensive production last year.
But for right now, I'm totally good giving it.
We'll
to the
stick
Dolphins
with the Dolphins. Week 11. I said that I wouldn't give them back-to-back losses. That's because I'm giving them back-to-back losses.
Exactly.
Philly's coming for their revenge in Week 11. I think, that this might be one of the game of the year, obviously, when you get a matchup of the Super Bowl and both teams are still coming in as the favorites in the year. I think Philly's going to get their revenge, especially of how close of a game that was in the Super Bowl.
I completely agree.
So,
but like everything, it has to come to an end.
It does.
I'm going to give the Kansas City Chiefs the win week 12 against the Raiders. The Raiders are just a mess.
Yes.
The
Raiders are.
Outside of Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, this team is not going to be great.
They tried to switch Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr, hoping that something would change, and I don't think anything really does there. Week 13. I think this is tough. We saw Jordan Love started his first season in his rookie year 3 years ago, and that was against the Kansas City Chiefs, in which he lost only 13-7. So it was a little bit closer. Green Bay definitely coming. In Green Bay in week 13, you're going to be in the weather. I think this can be a game that the Chiefs think that they're going to come in and win, and Green Bay can give them problems, but I don't know if that's good enough to give Green Bay the win. So I'm going to keep my biasness out of here, and I'm going to let you decide.
I was going to say, don't listen to this tomfoolery going on the other side. This cold weather, that might give them some. The Chiefs are coming in and smoking the Packers. I will tell you right here, if I saw the Chiefs on my schedule against the Seahawks, I would not sit here and tell you that's going to be a close game. I'm giving it to the Chiefs. So I'm very sorry. The Chiefs are beating.
No, and that is a valid concern that you can have. But I'm just saying that I think the Chiefs overconfidently are going to go into this game, and they're going to think, with Aaron Rodgers gone, that it's going to be easier than it is. Not saying that Green Bay is going to win, but I think you can be a little 27-24 Chiefs, especially in Jordan Love's rookie season. He only was, and they were the champions that year. He only was one possession game in his rookie year. So,
what was that, a week 17 game at the time?
That was week 12. Rodgers got COVID that year or that week.
Okay, all right. So it was a legit game then.
It was a legit game.
That gives me a little bit of hope.
But I do think that probably the Chiefs are going to be heavy favorites here, and I do see them winning. But I just think this is a game that you can think is going to be a gimme, and it switches one way and is not.
Yeah, but week 14, hate to burst your bubble, but I think this will actually be a very close game, and this could be a toss-up. But what do you think? Bills versus Chiefs.
I'm going to give it to the Chiefs. I don't think the Bills are going to be as good as people think. That's all I really got to say to that.
I will agree with you on that aspect. I don't think the Bills are going to be nearly as good as people think that they will be. So I'm right there with you. I'm giving it to the Chiefs.
And they're on a 3-game win streak now.
Let's make it 4. Why not?
I think they make it 4 against the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots are that good. I don't see what Bill Belichick is trying to build over there. And in week 16, I think they complete the sweep against the Raiders, winning at home on a Monday night. Now, week 17.
This is the last 2 weeks is where things get a little interesting here for the Chiefs, I think.
It does. And I would say not just a little interesting, but a little rocky because I would give the Bengals the win.
Yeah.
In week 17, I think the Bengals remember that sour taste in their mouth about the whole, pushing Mahomes out of bounds, giving him a 15-yard penalty of unnecessary roughness, which ultimately ended up to them losing that game. So I think the Bengals are going to come in with a completely different mindset and just be like, we remember that and Joe Burrow is 3-1 against the Chiefs. Let's not forget that. He does have a winning record by a good amount. So I do think the Bengals win week 17.
Yeah, and not to mention, it will be a home game for the Bengals.
It is.
Because the Bengals are going into Burrowhead. So I'm totally good giving it to the Bengals here.
In week 18, I do think that they do lose and split with the Chargers. I think they slide the last 2 games of the season. Like I said, I don't think the Chiefs will be as good as they were last year. Kelsey's getting to that age where he's going to start to have to take a decline. Not saying that it's going to be next year, but it's going to be soon.
Yeah.
If not next year, maybe the year after. He's 35, 34 now.
Yeah.
He's got his podcast. He's trying to set his career up after his playing career. So he definitely looks like he's getting ready to kick the can on the curb. Yeah. But I do think that the Chiefs are not going to be as good. Not saying that they're not going to be good. They're still going to win their division. They're still going to be top 2-3 teams in the AFC. But I do think that they're going to have a little bit of slippage. They won't get their 13 wins. They'll probably be around 11. Well, let's see what we have right here.
Well, before we move on, I just wanted to say something really quick as well. Let's not forget what happened to Travis Kelce last season when he was playing the Chargers. I think Travis Kelce is remembering it's a little something that happened. He might be a little afraid to go across the middle of the field.
He did get dropped.
He got dropped by Derwin James. So I think Travis might be a little scared going into that game. We'll see.
But overall, your Chiefs will be 11-6, just like we said. We think they'll have 11 wins. I'm assuming that they're gonna. I know we have the Chargers finishing 11-6 in a later podcast. But I do think that they'll have as it says right here, they do have the tiebreaker versus them. So we do have the Chiefs probably winning that division.
I think so. So with that,
team number 3.
Let's go right back to Siri. Pick a number 1 through 32.
It's 29.
There we go, Siri. And that's going to be your Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh.
I don't mind that one.
I don't mind that at all. New quarterback. We'll see what they got here. We'll see what they got. All right, the Indianapolis Colts.
They're starting off week 1 against the Jaguars.
And they're starting it off with the loss.
I would agree. I think that it would be a very tall task to say, you just got your rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson, and let's go beat Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, let's not forget, they're on a roll, and they just got a huge weapon back. Calvin Ridley. Mm-hmm. So I think that the Jags are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Give it to the Jags, no question.
But week 2, I'm going to give it to the Indianapolis Colts over the Houston Texans. You have Anthony Richardson versus C.J. Stroud. The really thing here that I think is going to give it to the Colts is I just trust Jonathan Taylor to help his rookie quarterback and carry his rookie quarterback earlier in the season than I trust Dameon Pierce to do that.
Yeah, interesting. You might bring up the name Jonathan Taylor because I think I got something coming later. Stay tuned.
Plan for Jonathan Taylor later. But week 3, Colts versus Ravens. I'm going to give it to the Ravens here. They're just outmatched roster-wise. The Colts, Lamar Jackson just inked his deal. He's going to be more willing to put his body on the line now that he's got his money. So we'll see what happens here with the Colts, but I do think that their roster's not going to put them where you would like to see your team be. They're going to be towards the bottom of the league.
Completely agree. I think week 4 is a little bit of a toss-up here. They're playing the Rams.
I'm going to go the Rams.
You know what? I'm feeling that too.
I'm going to go the Rams. Matt Stafford, they still got Cooper Kupp coming back. You know, they're not going to be as bad last year when they had a lot of injuries. So I do think that the Rams are going to pick up a couple more wins here in this season.
I agree. But week 5, divisional game, I'm going to give it to the Colts here.
I am in full agreement with you. I'm glad you chose that.
I'm going to give it to the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson, after 4 games, he's getting in his stride a little bit. He's getting in his bag. I do believe that he has the highest upside out of any quarterback in this draft. So give it to Anthony Richardson and the Colts there. Week 6, another divisional game.
Bring out the brooms. The Jags sweep the Colts in both games they play.
Completely agree with you, Trav.
So
the Jags, I might have them as my sneaky team of the whole entire league this year.
Ooh.
I might.
I have a sneaky team, and that's the team that they'll be playing in Week 7. The Cleveland Browns.
Oh.
This is really the battle of the running backs. Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to give it to the Browns. I trust Myles Garrett in that defense more than I trust Shaq Leonard in his defense. So really that's what it boils down to, is I think the Browns can stop the Colts more than the Colts can stop the Browns.
Yeah, I am completely A-okay with that there. Week 8, talk to me. The Saints.
The Saints is all you got to say. I think it's a win for them.
You're giving it to the Saints here, really?
I am.
Wow. I was going to give it to the Colts here, Trav.
I'm going to give it to the Saints.
Based off of what? What's your reasoning behind that?
Hopefully by that time, I'm assuming Kamara gets suspended. My guess is 6 games. That's week 8. He should be back by then.
Yeah.
Olave's an X-factor player. He's a dog. You know, now that he has a quarterback that can throw the deep ball like Derek Carr, which we know Jameis was not a good deep ball thrower, and Olave, that's what he specializes in.
Yeah.
So that's why I think I would choose New Orleans.
All right. You know what? I'll take that back. I will agree with you here with the Saints.
Week 9, I'm going to take Carolina. This is a toss-up. But Carolina's at home, and that's the little edge I needed to give it to them.
All right, I'll give it to Carolina. But week 10, though, I want to give the Colts a win here. They're going to Germany.
I'm going to give the Colts a win here.
Against the Patriots. I don't really think there's too much that needs to be said. I think the Patriots might be I think they're definitely be a bottom 10 team. Maybe even lower than that.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it to the Colts.
Yeah, yep. I think week 11's their bye.
Yep.
Week 12, they play who I think is going to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team, the Buccaneers. I'm going to give it to the Colts, obviously. Coming off a bye versus one of the lower teams in the NFL, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory.
Give them their first back-to-back wins of the season right there. I love
it.
I guess not technically right back-to-back, but in terms of their schedule, it's back-to-back.
Week 13, I do think that they split with Tennessee, so they're going to be picking up the loss there. And the same goes for week 14 when they play Cincinnati.
Yep.
Picking up the loss there as well.
Completely agree.
Week 15, I think I'm going to give them the win versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah.
Huh? I might battle you on that one. I'm not going to lie. I might have to throw up a rock, paper, scissors duel. I don't know. Although we do have my Seattle Seahawks beating the Steelers, I do think that they'll be a pretty decent team. We know Mike Tomlin's a really good coach. He refuses to put out a losing record team on the field.
He does.
He has yet to do so. And I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but I know that he is the most winningest coach in the past. Has just had the most winning records in the past at least decade. Maybe it is more than that, but I really like the Steelers.
I do think the Steelers are going to be good, but I'm giving it to the Colts strictly based off that run defense. And the Steelers are just so hit or miss in some games. So let's bring out the good old-fashioned rock, paper, scissors.
Let's see whose mind games will win.
Hey, I'm working you. I worked you right there.
I'm going rock on this one, just so you know. I'm going rock.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Wow.
I wouldn't lie to my friend.
You ready?
All right, I'm going rock again.
I'm also going to go rock again.
Right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
See, now you just look like an asshole. Because I was going to go scissors thinking you were going to go paper, but I was like, you know what? I trust him. I think he'll go rock again and be nice. And just like, we'll both put out rock and we'll run it back again.
What did we say before we throw out that rock, paper, scissors match? The mind games.
Yeah,
I was playing mind games with you.
I thought you were going to be nice. That's all. I lost trust in my friend today. That's all. That's fine.
We're giving it to the Colts.
We're giving it to the Colts.
In week 16, we're giving it to the Colts again versus Atlanta.
God damn, we might be giving them a winning record here, Travis.
Oh, right now.
You sure you don't want to give it to the Steelers in week 15?
No, I don't. Because I have where they're going to lose here in week 17 versus the Raiders. Josh Jacobs versus Jonathan Taylor. Pretty even at the running back spot, but what do they have that the Colts don't have? They have a guy named Devontae Adams. They have an X factor, 2 X factors on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. And I'm looking at this. Do we really want to have the Colts sweeping the Texans?
I do.
You really think so?
No, I don't think so. I think the Texans take one.
That's what I think. I think the Texans will take one.
I think week 18, you give it to the Texans there. CJ Stroud versus Anthony Richardson. Hopefully, I think CJ's the better quarterback. In week 18, he'll be well in his bag by then.
Yeah.
Yes, the Colts roster is exponentially better than Houston, but you always got to pick a couple games that are just mysteries, and you never can really predict what's going to happen, and I think you got to do that with a few games. So I have Houston beating the Colts here.
All right, I'm good with that. And I think you can kind of chop that one up either way, whether you want to give it to the Texans in week 2 when they're home or week 18. We'll just do it for this for simplicity.
Yep. And that has the Colts finishing at 6-11. So let's hurry up here. We got one more team on our bucket list. All right, here we go, Surrey. Come on.
Pick a number 1 through 32.
It's 25.
That, I think, is a new team.
25.
Ooh, interesting. The Los Angeles Rams.
The Los Angeles Rams.
This is going to be a fun one.
Right into it. Week 1, don't really have to say much. We did it literally 5 minutes ago. Maybe 20 minutes ago for you guys. But the Seattle Seahawks are winning week 1 versus the Rams.
I agree.
And week 2, I think that the Rams are going to take another loss versus the 49ers.
Completely agree here. And the story does not change much in week 3 because they're playing the Bengals.
No.
They low-key, the Rams have a very hot start. And not in a good way. They're playing, when I say hot start, I mean they're playing really good
teams.
Yeah.
Week 4, we literally just did this with the last team we said. So we're going to go the Los Angeles Rams pick up their first win of the season, making them 1-3.
Oh, Jesus.
Continuing the start of good teams that they have to play. They do have to play the Eagles, which is another loss. Chalk that up for them.
But here, this is I love this. We get to decide which team is shittier in the NFC West, the Cardinals or the Rams?
The Cardinals.
I think they're shittier, but honestly, I could see them splitting.
Yeah, but it's at home, at least this early, so we'll worry about the split later. Let's give it to the Rams right now.
All right, deal.
Week 7, I'm going to go the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I will go the Pittsburgh Steelers as well with you there.
Following the wavelength. Week 8 versus the Dallas Cowboys. You're giving it to the Dallas Cowboys coming off a bye.
Yeah, I don't think that's much of a question there.
They lost Jalen Ramsey. They were only able to trade Jalen Ramsey for a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing? Are they tanking for Caleb Williams?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But I guess Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp are still there, but I don't know if that's good enough.
Yeah, and then I'm looking over here at this Week 9 matchup, and I'm seeing who they're playing here. And I really want to give the Rams the win here. As much as I hate them.
I think Green Bay is going to win here. I just think the Rams roster is just not good at all.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm giving the win to the Green Bay Packers here.
Yeah.
I can't be supporting any team in my division, so fuck them.
Week 11, the Seahawks complete the sweep. Again, who knows? Who knows with them? But I do think the Rams are going to lose that game. Week 12, I do think that they split with the Cardinals, so giving the Cardinals the win there.
Yeah. And then actually in week 13, I know we've been kind of riding the Browns wave a little bit, but I feel like the Rams might pick up a win here. I don't mind it.
Like I've said, there's always a game that is unexpected, and I'm on your wavelength here. This is the game that's going to be a little unexpected, and the Rams are going to pull out a win. You always got to pick one. Got to pick one.
But unfortunately, they play the Ravens off a bye week in week 13, or sorry, excuse me, week 14. They're not getting a miracle.
Nope.
2 wins back to back.
Nope. Week 15, though, I do have the Rams beating the Commanders. The Commanders, I don't really know what's going on there. I trust Cooper Kupp. I trust Matt Stafford more than I trust whoever the Commanders are going to throw out there.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm totally fine giving the Rams a little bit of a end of the season little juice and giving them the win over the Saints in week 16.
I'm fine giving them the juice, and I'm fine continuing the juice into week 17, beating the Giants, who I think are not going to be as good as they were last year. I don't think there's any shot that the Giants are as good as they were last year. But all good things must come to an end, and in week 18, they get the bricks blown off them by the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, there's not going to be much question there.
So overall, that has the Los Angeles Rams at 6-11, right where I think they would be, right in that mold with the Colts at 6-11, like we said earlier. So I think those two are definitely on par and definitely should be the same record as we have here.
Yeah, and honestly, 6-11 feels about right for the Rams, but part of me does feel a little nervous because the Rams were a very injured team last year. They didn't have their star receiver, Cooper Kupp. They didn't have their star quarterback. So, I don't know. There's a very, I wouldn't say very small, but I think there's a smaller chance that they come and they play pretty well. They still have Aaron Donald. I know they lost Jalen Ramsey. The defense definitely got worse. But they're still a fraction of the Super Bowl team that once was.
That once was.
So, I don't know. Part of me feels like, maybe they get a win over the Steelers week 7. Maybe they could pull off a win against you guys. Maybe they could even split games with us. But I think that this is a pretty fair, safe place for the Rams here.
Seems like a little bit of a hot take for you.
It does seem like a little bit of a hot take because
I don't know if you realize what I was trying to do there.
I do realize because our next segment is hot takes. And my personal favorite hot take that I have ever made on this podcast. I'm saying it right here, right now. My favorite ever hot take. I am saying it. JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the 20th pick in the first round of this year's NFL draft, my Seattle Seahawks will finish as the wide receiver 1. I'm very sorry, DK. I apologize. But JSN will be finishing as the wide receiver 1 with the most receiving yards and, honestly, quite frankly, the most receptions as well. I think that DK Metcalf is very good at what he does. He can run deep routes. He can burn you. He can be more physical than you. He can run his posts. He can run his slants. And he's very effective and very good at those things. And I think that also there's a time and a place for Tyler Lockett. I think that he is a very good possession catcher. You're 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5. He's a very trustworthy guy. He's got very good hands, especially around the end zone. He's never dropped an open ball in the back of the end zone that hits his hands ever in his career. He's never dropped it in the NFL. So he has his good spots too. But I think JSN covers all bases when you're looking at a receiver. I think he can run the deep route. I think that he can be the possession catcher you need. He's really good in space. He fucking breaks down zones like I've never seen at a college level. And this man can fucking torch in man. So I really don't see any downsides for JSN. I know he's a rookie. I know he's never played at the NFL level. So that's saying a lot. That's why it's falling here in the hot take section. But let me tell you, I've already been seeing JSN fucking burning our defenders. Sorry to our number 5 pick, Devin Witherspoon, but he got fucking torched down the sideline by JSN. So giving me hope in JSN. I really think he'll be the wide receiver 1. But I wanted to hear, do you think that's a little too spicy of a hot take, or what do you think?
I do think that's too spicy of a hot take. I think that's very disrespectful to two guys who continually in the last 2-3 seasons get 1,400 plus yards, 10 plus touchdowns. I think especially Tyler, who's a big touchdown guy, DK, who's been that guy for the last 2 years. saying a rookie that's just going to go in there and jump both of them on the depth chart is a little outlandish, which is why it's here on the hot takes. Like I can't disrespect. Like it's on hot takes for a reason, but I do think that it's just he definitely has the opportunity to get 800 to 1,000 yards, but I don't think that he has the opportunity to breach those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, this is why it's in the hot take section. And there's no disrespect to DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett whatsoever. I love both those receivers. But I don't know. I really think that Jason has the upside to be that guy. He's going to be our safety blanket, and I think he's going to get north of 10 receptions on average a game.
Yeah, talking about to a guy that I think has the upside, and that's Jordan Love on my hot take. Mm-hmm. I think that he finishes with better stats than Aaron Rodgers had with the Packers last year. Aaron Rodgers did not have a good year, really, to any quarterback means last year. I'm looking at his statistics here from 2022, and Aaron Rodgers had 3,695 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions with a 91 quarterback rating. Worst of his career in all the categories by far. I just don't see a world where Jordan Love doesn't come in and do worse than that. Like, I think that, 12 interceptions, 26 touchdowns, and 3,000 yards from a quarterback is not good whatsoever. So I just don't see where Jordan Love is going to come in and do worse, unless he completely fails. But he has had the chance to sit and watch his veteran quarterback in front of him, take notes, learn from the guy. So I do think that, yes, he's not going to come in with 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns like Mahomes is, but I don't think getting over 26 touchdowns and having less than 12 interceptions is that big of a feat.
No, I don't think it's that big of a feat, but there's two things that worry me. I'll start off by saying, I know Jordan Love has got a cannon for an arm. Mm-hmm. I know that he can sling that ball. But with that being said, the receiving room did get a little worse. I mean, you guys did pick up that second round receiver, so we'll see how he pans out. Remind me, I think his last name's Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Yeah, Jaden Reed. I know you guys have him, but I really think that you guys are going to be very reliant on your run game this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's saying anything bad about Jordan Love or that receiver room, but I think that just naturally with a quarterback who has a bigger question mark in front of or behind his name, just naturally, a head coach is probably going to want to put a little bit more trust in your backfield, which, let's not forget, is a very highly respected 100%. Backfield in the NFL. So when you have that, why not give them the rock? I mean, they're two solid backs. So I think
you do have to throw the ball in the game. Yeah, and I do think when you have guys like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, it just is easier for Jordan Love because it opens up the play action. It opens up the passing game that much more. Where Aaron Rodgers would kind of not run the ball and he'd kind of audible out of it.
Yeah.
So I just think Jordan Love, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns is not that hard of a feat to beat. We see Jimmy Garoppolo and guys who aren't even that great caliber of quarterbacks do that in some seasons that they've played. So I do think Jordan Love has the capability to do that.
Gotcha. Well, I'll just run it right back with my second hot take today. Jonathan Taylor was hurt last season. He did not have a great season, but he has a huge comeback year. I'm saying that Jonathan Taylor will lead the league in rushing yards once again.
Hot take.
I like it. I think you saw what Jonathan Taylor did 2 years ago. He was just running through everyone 2 years ago. Arguably almost had an MVP caliber season as a running back. So I don't think, similar to Saquon, similar to Dalvin, I think these running backs are very, very good, but they just can't stay on the field. So if Jonathan Taylor can figure out his injury issues, stay healthy the whole year, I think he is more than capable to finish as the running back one in the entire league. 100%.
We saw that 2 years ago. So he just needs to be able to stay on the field.
That's all it is. Yeah.
So, but last hot take of the podcast. This might be the most firing hot take we've had yet. I think the Bills will miss the playoffs. And it is a hot take. That's why it's in this segment. But Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, their controversy there Their division gets a hell of a lot better. They're going to pick up a couple losses. Might not even win their division with the Jets, with the Dolphins getting Jalen Ramsey, the Jets, obviously Aaron Rodgers. And I think you got the Chiefs. Obviously, they're going to do good. Obviously, the Bengals are going to do good. The Jaguars, Chargers, and Ravens are all up-and-coming teams, and they have been up-and-coming for the last couple of years. So this AFC conference is not an easy one at all. You're going to have to pick up 10 to 11 wins to be able to get a playoff spot. And I think that they'll be right at that 10-win mark, which puts them right on the brink of elimination. And I think if maybe if the Jaguars or maybe the Ravens pick up an extra win or two, that'll be the difference between the Bills making the playoffs and not.
Yeah, honestly, I know that you prefaced this hot take with saying that this might be the hottest hot take that we've had, but I actually don't mind this. And I'm taking a look at the list, and like you were saying, all these teams that you have here, the Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Chiefs, Chargers, Jags, and Ravens, I could totally see every one of those teams finishing with a better record than the Bills.
Yep.
Not saying that the Bills are going to be horrible, but if the Bills go 10-7 in this very strong AFC, I think that's enough where they don't make it 100%.
Well, before we dive too deep into this, let's open up mock trial, because one of our mock trials is who is winning the AFC East. Is it the Bills? Is it the Dolphins? Is it the Jets? Or is it the Patriots? Personally, I think it's going to be the Jets.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think the Jets picked up Aaron Rodgers. They had 8 wins last year. Aaron Rodgers is just that extra win or two that they needed to put them into the division lead spot.
I don't think so.
Well, explain yourself then.
I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be the best team in the AFC East.
Wow. The Bills are completely getting ruled out of this mock trial.
I mean, we just said it. I agreed with you. You know, I was listening to your hot take, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? These Bills ain't going to be good. I think these Dolphins going to be better.
Yeah,
I'm putting the Dolphins as the number one team. My reasoning.
It's all up to Tua.
I think there's two things. Tua can stay healthy, not get concussed no more. Maybe they need to hit him with the fucking double helmet or something. Maybe they need to make an exception and get him that soft helmet on top of the helmet.
Fucking put some morphine in him, slap his ass, and make him go back on the
pump
field.
him full of it.
Yeah, morphine, get your ass back out there.
I think that's what they did last year.
Yeah, maybe that's not the way to go then.
But I think if Tua can stay healthy, and if Tyreek Hill can avoid these allegations and possible suspension from the NFL, I truly think that this Dolphins roster is primed and ready to make a deep run. They have arguably one of the best cornerback duos in the league in Xavier Howard and newly acquired Jalen Ramsey. So I think that along with their arguably one of the best receiving cores in at least receiving duos in the league, along with a healthy quarterback, along with a very fast running back, Raheem Mostert, I think that this team has plenty of pieces and plenty of talent surrounding them to not only make the playoffs, but to be the best team in the AFC and get that one spot.
Yep. I think the Jets, they have that roster. They have Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. They have Alan Lazard. They have just signed Adrian Amos to help their defensive side with Sauce Gardner. I think that the Dolphins roster and the Jets roster just might be the two of the best rosters in the league. But honestly, I really think this mock trial mocks it down to the Bills. I mean, I hate to hate on the Bills here, but I just don't think that they're going to be that good of a team.
Yeah.
Everyone has them as the number one team in the AFC, number two team in the AFC within this year and last year and the year before, and I just don't think that they're going to continue that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree with you there. We can agree the Bills are not going to be good.
Not good.
But they're
They'll
not going to
have 10 wins, which is
division.
solid. It's just I think some teams get better than the Bills do, and I think that's the difference.
Completely agree.
But talking about the whole AFC, our second mock trial here, do you think the reigning champion Chiefs are the best team in the AFC?
I still think that they are.
You still do?
I think the reigning champs are coming to play. But before I explain myself, I want to hear what you have and what team you think is going to be better than the Chiefs.
We put this on here because we just chatted a little bit about it just to see if we differed, and we did. I have the Bengals as the best team in the AFC. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Their defense did get a little bit worse. They lost Jesse Bates. But that whole offensive line, if they can stay healthy, they picked up some guys, not this offseason, but last offseason. You know, they got hurt, Lyle Collins and guys like that. But they were a controversial penalty. Yes, I do think it was a penalty at the end of the day, but controversial to say the least penalty in that AFC Championship game, away from beating the Chiefs 4 times in a row to advance to another Super Bowl. So I do think that those are the two teams neck and neck to win the AFC. I just think the Chiefs got worse more than the Bengals did, which might be another hot take because the Bengals lost Jesse Bates, who was their Pro Bowl safety. But I think McCole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, and guys like that, losing all that role player talent that you got from in the Super Bowl night. Juju Smith-Schuster scored a touchdown, and those guys contributed to their success. I think that Bengals team, if we can figure out what's going on with Joe Mixon, I think that they're the best team in the league.
Yeah, I see your point here, but let me rebuttal and let me explain why I think that the Chiefs are still the best team.
All right.
I'll
let you get a little rebuttal in.
Yeah, let me get
closing arguments on mock trial.
Sorry, say that again.
Closing arguments on mock trial.
Exactly. Yes. Well, let me get my closing argument. Get a little serious on you here. I think that the Chiefs did not miss. Who cares about Juju being gone? Who cares? No one needed Juju anyways. Who cares about Mecole Hardman being gone? Because, Travis, the Chiefs still have Kadarius Toney. They still have a very young Sky Moore. And they still have, you are very well familiar with this guy, Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
I am very familiar with
So they
it.
still have a very, obviously not top receiving core in the league, but a very formidable one, I think, still. Kadarius Toney, we've seen what he can do. He is a very explosive, elusive, breaks tackles. He has what it takes to be an elite wide receiver. I think we just need to see a full season of him on one team and fully healthy because we haven't seen that yet from him since he's been in the league. So I think we cannot count him out just yet. I think that Sky Moore was a little overlooked because of the little extra depth at receiver in the receiving room last year. He didn't see as many minutes. So let's see what Sky Moore can do as a true wide receiver 2 or true wide receiver 3, whatever he pans out to be. And also, you still have a burner in Marquez Valdes-Scantling who could beat you deep down the field.
Yeah, and drops a lot of balls, though.
He may drop a ball or two, I won't lie. But if he's going to be torching people every time, take a shot, right? 50-50 catch it. And I have one last thing. There's one thing which I think that people are overlooking so much. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, actually. The running back room was very different, if you remember, at the beginning of the season last year for the Chiefs. And there was someone who took over. And you saw what he did. He had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He was, I'm pretty sure, a 5th-round pick, Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
He's an absolute dog. I think that he will take a huge step forward this year. I think he's going to have a good 60-70% of the snaps at running back. I think he's going to be getting a lot of touches a game. He's their power back. He's their short, third and short, fourth and short goal line back. He's going to be getting touchdowns, and he can break them loose for 40 yards. I think that Isaiah Pacheco is very highly overlooked, and I think him starting instead of that fucking bum Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think it's going to make all the difference in the world, and I think it's going to push the Chiefs out earlier.
To start my closing arguments here on mock trial, I hear all your points, and I do understand them, but I think Joe Mixon is better than Isaiah Pacheco or Jerick McKinnon, whoever you want to say. I think Joe Mixon's better than that. I think talking about guys who burn and X factors, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd, you got guys around that whole offense, especially in the receiver room, that can burn people down the field. You have an improved O-line. I just think that there's a bunch more weapons. And yes, Mahomes is just that guy, and he's that guy to get you anything we've ever seen and to get you wins. But Joe Burrow is just a winner. That's why the Bengals are 3-1 against the Chiefs since Joe Burrow has joined the team. And 3-1 mine with teams that have been way worse than the team that they're coming into with this season. I just think that defense, they still have Trey Hendrickson. They still have a Chidobe Awuzie, which was one of the best cover corners last year. So they still have guys on the defense. Yes, they lose Jesse Bates, which was one of their Pro Bowlers. But I don't think that it's going to have, like, he's a safety. He's in the back end. He doesn't have as big of an impact as, say, an edge rusher or a linebacker would have. So it's not like you're losing one of the most impactful guys. Like, they still have Logan Wilson, who was a guy, very up-and-comer, was a young player last year that's going to improve. So, I mean, it's really between those two guys. You like you said, Isaiah Pacheco, there's a lot of guys that can improve on the Chiefs and a lot of guys that can improve on the Bengals. It's just, in my opinion, both defenses are kind of average. It's just pick your poison offensively. Do you like Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, or do you like Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all those guys?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I think that it's a pretty easy decision who has a better quarterback and who has a better receiving room. I think that clearly, Patrick, although Joe Burrow is a fucking very close second, I think Patrick Mahomes is by far the best quarterback.
100%.
He's in a league on his own in this NFL, in today's NFL. I also think that the Bengals receiver room is in a league of their own in this today's NFL. Like you were talking about, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. You can't take away from those guys. They're fucking dogs. It really comes down to, I think, that running back room, because I think maybe you could kind of chalk, obviously Travis Kelce's the best tight end in football.
I think you can kind of put him in the receiver room
a little bit. You could kind of put the two and two together. Maybe that makes it a little bit closer if you're going to count him there. It really comes back down to that running back room, I guess. And although I do like Joe Mixon, I do think that Isaiah Pacheco has the capability to have a more successful season than Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hot take, especially since Pacheco, I think, is a 7th round pick.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. He was last round.
7th round pick. So, and he had a couple good games, especially in the late playoffs last year. But I don't think you can have a sample size of a couple games in the playoffs compared to what Joe Mixon has done over the last 3-4 seasons, including what Samaje Perine was able to do in Joe Mixon's absence last year. So it's not like, if Joe Mixon's not there, their running back room is like, they still have solid guys just like the Chiefs do, and McKinnon, and I guess Edwards-Helaire is just, I think he's irrelevant at this point, but I think that Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon is better than Jerick McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that could be made either way. But listen, it's the fucking reigning champs. It's Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs.
But the same argument can be made with the reigning champs last year in the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, but come on. You can't compare last year's Rams to this year's Rams and then last year's Chiefs to this year's Chiefs. There's no way.
I mean you can't do it. But the reigning champs argument has been thrown around there a lot in so-called podcasts and stuff. I don't like the argument because each season's a new season. You never really know what's going to happen.
I hear you on that. But I think there's a difference. I think that Patrick Mahomes is the one guy that kind of just defies all rules and logic and
definitely
what has happened in the past. I think that we are witnessing the Tom Brady of our era.
Yeah.
Truly, I think so. I think we're going to see Patrick Mahomes at least win 3 more Super Bowls by the time he's done.
Oh, yeah.
I really think so.
I could definitely see Patrick Mahomes getting a couple more Super Bowls under his belt, but every player and every team like Tom Brady has a kryptonite, whether it's Eli Manning, whether it's, playing the Broncos, whoever it is, every team has it, and I think the Chiefs is the Bengals. I just think that offense is the only offense in the league, maybe outside of Philly, because Philly did give them a run for their money last year, that can just match the Chiefs stride for stride. When the Chiefs are on, no other offense outside of maybe Philly and Cincinnati have the ability to keep up with that.
Yeah, the one thing that scares me with the Bengals is that sometimes they can be a little spotty. They're pretty consistent, but I've definitely seen some games where I'm like, either Burrow looks off or he doesn't look on the same page as his receivers. I don't know. So I think if the Chiefs catch him on a bad day, or not even a bad day, if the Bengals are off at all and they're not on the same page a little bit, I think that the Chiefs hit the floor running.
Yeah, but I think
with
you
it.
could say the same for the other way around. If the Chiefs aren't on, I mean, you've seen it. I think the Bengals can control them pretty easily.
But I think that's when the Bengals are literally firing at all cylinders. I don't think that the Chiefs the Chiefs are always going to be here. I think the Bengals can either play below or above them, and most of the time it's below them, but I think the Chiefs will always be that constant good. You'll never see Patrick Mahomes like shaken up or confused. I think him and Travis Kelce have a connection like nobody else has on the football field. I don't know. I'm a strong believer in this Chiefs team.
I mean, rightfully so, as they did win the Super Bowl and have been consistently good for the last 6 years. But
I think we're clearly not going to agree on this.
No, clearly
we're
not.
going to
Clearly
agree to
not.
disagree. We could be sitting here all day giving each other counter arguments back and forth. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun podcast.
It was fun. I mean,
It was all football.
All football, which
I love
is
it.
why we're wearing the jerseys.
Exactly.
And why we dedicated the start of football season on our podcast. I know football season, preseason is still 2 months away, but on our podcast, the conversations, the talk, the hype for the season starts today.
Yeah, arguably the number one sports podcast, I think, actually statistically proven and verifiable.
Oh, verifiable.
I think so.
I would go look it up on Google, but unfortunately, I think Google's not working right now. They're down. So,
Yeah. But with that, thank you guys for liking, watching, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. We love you guys. Let us know how you enjoyed. And yeah.
let's kick off the season, the NFL season, with cue in the outro.
Peace!